So they continued their trip. Al-Khidr saw a young boy. Many scholars say he's about 10 years old, away playing next to a village. And then Al-Khidr approached that young boy and stabbed the boy and killed him. What a crime! And Musa alayhi salam could not, of course, bear it. He said, what did you do? How could you slay an innocent soul? Of course, anyone of us who would see this would have the same reaction. Al-Khidr very calmly said, did I not tell you that you cannot have patience with me? That is all he said. Musa alayhi salam remembered the condition. See, he was told from the beginning, you cannot bear with me. You cannot bear something that you have no knowledge of. How could you bear it? Something that contradicts with logic. How could you bear it? It contradicts with everything that you know. How can you have patience with something like that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching Musa and teaching us a lesson. There are things beyond logic, beyond theories, beyond science. Today, as we speak, science glorifies Einstein and the theory of relativity. And this theory really changed science. Space and so on could not have been conquered without it. But we also know of quantum theory, that is also a great theory of science. And without it, many of the adventures and knowledge of science we would not have reached. And many things that we see today, we could not explain it without quantum theory. Do you know that science says very clearly the two theories, quantum theory and relativity theory, contradict each other? We know for a fact that they cannot be both right. They can be both wrong, that is a possibility, but they cannot be both right. While we still use them both, and we don't know how it works, that two things that contradict each other work, we don't know. And this is the creation of humans. So there are a lot of things in science, in knowledge, that is beyond our comprehension. We see it, we deal with it, but we don't know. We think we know. Sometimes we give ourselves too much credit. It is too much credit. So from this story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching humanity, do not overcredit yourself. Do not give too much credit to your knowledge and science. You still don't know most of knowledge. So, going back to the story, Musa asks, the answer comes, I told you cannot bear with me, you cannot have patience with me. Musa remembered, and he said, you are right. If ever I ask you about anything after this, before you explaining it first, do not take me with you on this journey. And Al-Khidr said, agreed. You put this condition upon yourself, I agree. Musa asked for forgiveness, for excuse, although it is something that cannot be borne, but this is the agreement. So they moved. Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khidr reached a village, and they were very tired, they were very hungry. And then they started asking for food. They had no money. It is the custom of that time that if you are traveling and you had no food, and this is, by the way, approved by in Islam, if you had no food and you ask for food, it is a must on those of the village, of the city, to feed you for 3 days. You are a guest, an obligatory guest, for 3 days. This is a must in Islam, and it was a must in culture, and it was a must of the village and the areas that the Musa and Al-Khidr used to travel in. So it was customary to ask for food. So they asked for food, nobody would give them. What kind of village is this? So they started moving from one door to another, asking for anyone to provide for them, to give them food, and nobody would give them food. None. So they went to the suburbs of the village, the edge of the village, and they sat down, very hungry and waiting. They don't know what they're waiting for. Suddenly, Al-Khidr sees a wall, just a wall, that is almost falling down. Just a wall. It's not a building, it's just a wall. at the edge of the city in the desert, almost falling down. Has no purpose, it has no use. So Al-Khidr moved to that wall, brought it down, started to rebuild it. And they were very hungry. Musa alayhi salam was looking at this strange old man. What is he doing? Building a wall in the middle of the desert that has no purpose. It was almost falling down anyway. So why would you build it? So he came to him and he said, if you're going to build a wall, at least ask for money. Why would you build a wall that has no purpose? And even if you have to, why do you do it for these people who did not give us any food? So if you're going to do it, you should have asked for money. Why didn't you ask for money in return? Al-Khidr looked at him. He said, this is the end of our journey together. Al-Khidr stood up. He said, Musa, don't feel bad. Let me explain to you what happened. Let's start with the first story. Remember that ship that I destroyed? He said, yes. Why did you do that? He said, there was a king traveling in that direction, and he would take any good ship from its people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me that knowledge that this king is coming, and these young men, poor seamen, would lose their ship. And the only way to save them from the king to take their ship is to break it. The king passed by, he saw that this ship was in trouble, did not attack them, did not take their ship. So I did it to save their wealth. What a great explanation. Something beyond knowledge, beyond wisdom. It is the knowledge of the unseen. It is the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of things that we do not know. Next time we will continue with the story of Al-Khidr and Musa alayhi salam, and then we will go back to the children of Israel and what happened to them. May Allah have peace upon you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. See you next time, inshallah.